We go, ladies and gentlemen, for the welterweight championship of the world. Introducing the challenger, the former undisputed lightweight champ, Islam Makhachev. Official weight 170 for the challenger. And his opponent, the reigning, defending, undisputed welterweight champion of the world. First up on the scale, MACHADO GARRY, official weight 171. And his opponent, dropped down. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am here with the challenger, the great Islam Makhachev. Islam, you had one of the most spectacular reigns as a lightweight champion of all time. Now you are moving up to welterweight. Give us your thoughts as a fighter and what tomorrow night means to you.
One day to my dream, to biggest fight in my life. I'm ready. Thank you all. See you tomorrow, inshallah.
Good luck to you, sir. The challenger, ladies and gentlemen.
Islam Makhachev and Ian Machado Garry finally came face to face, turning months of anticipation and speculation into a real moment. For those few seconds, all the talk leading up to the fight seemed to disappear as both fighters stood directly in front of each other, knowing that everything would soon be settled inside the cage.
Guys, I'm the best fighter in the world. That's why I have to show who I am this Saturday night. And I will show you, inshallah.
There were no microphones or interviews standing between them anymore, and no social media posts could create the distance they had relied on before. This time, they were directly in front of each other, with nothing left to separate the two fighters from the tension of the moment. There were only two fighters left standing, barely a step apart, locked in an intense stare. Neither needed to say anything, because they both understood what was coming. Soon, all the claims, confidence, and expectations would have to be backed up inside the octagon.
About it, folks. The tension in this arena is palpable. We are here with the top lightweight contender, Islam Makhachev. 10 straight wins have put you in position to challenge for the title. Your thoughts on what fight might play out here tomorrow?
Abu Dhabi, give some noise. We're gonna do this tomorrow night, inshallah.
There he is, folks. Congratulations. Wish you all the best. Islam Makhachev.
Standing opposite each other were two fighters with completely different paths to this moment. Islam Makhachev, the former UFC lightweight champion, had established himself as one of the most dominant grapplers of his era. His reputation was built on relentless control, where an opponent escaping one position often meant being caught in another moments later. Facing him was Ian Machado Garry, the confident and rangy Irish contender who had spent years developing an unbeaten record and establishing himself as a serious force in the division.
There'll be nothing he can do about it, and I'll talk to him, I'll dance in his face, I'll do whatever I want, because the truth is, when we get locked into that cage one day, he's never going to be able to deal with me. But the truth is, I have a target on my back. I have the ability to stand here and shoot shots at anyone I want, because this is my job, and they have the opportunity in return. So for me, when you attack people in my circle when they don't deserve it, that's out of line. And look,
Garry has repeatedly maintained that no fighter on the UFC roster can intimidate him, and that confidence was clearly visible during the face-off. What should have been a routine ceremonial stare-down quickly carried a much heavier atmosphere. Garry appeared relaxed and completely composed, almost as if he wanted to show that the moment meant nothing to him. Islam, meanwhile, remained quiet and unreadable, showing virtually no emotion. Yet his silence seems significant because he understands precisely what kind of challenge is waiting for him once the two finally enter the octagon.
This is Dagestan versus Ireland guy from AliExpress. This fight, I think, from the first time when I'm taking him down, I have chance to finish him because I saw his ground game not so good, you know. He have good strikings, long reach. Honestly, it's gonna be finished.
Garry is fully aware of the challenge waiting for him. One of the first things that stood out was the noticeable difference in their physical dimensions. Garry's height, reach, and larger frame could create a difficult matchup for a fighter who typically succeeds by closing distance, applying pressure, and establishing dominant positions against his opponents.
I cannot wait to step into the octagon against Islam Makhachev and beat him, because there will be no doubt that I have done it against the best. To be the best, you have to beat the best. And my next opponent is regarded by everyone in the world as the #1 ranked pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. After the fight, I just want it to be known that MACHADO GARRY is great. Make no excuses.
Garry has the tools to keep the fight at long range, relying on his reach for straight combinations, kicks, and constant movement that can make opponents repeatedly adjust their positioning. Islam, on the other hand, has faced plenty of different physical challenges throughout his career, and his usual response has remained remarkably straightforward.
Yeah, everything is going very well. We stay in the same gym, like last couple fights we stay in New Jersey. Too many my brothers and friends and sparring partner with me, almost all team is here. We're training together. Habib is here, Javier is here, you know, and we're training every day very hard to be ready. His skills, I just have to run in this camp too much because I have to follow him because he runs too much, you know. I know his game plan, we always see his fight and he has same style always, but I will try to catch him, take him down, just what I did with my all opponents.
He's done a lot of his camp, obviously, with Charles Oliveira. He's trained a lot. Is there anything Charles can tell him about you that you're worried about?
Yeah, Charles is gonna teach him how to tap fast. That's it.
Islam's answer has traditionally been to cut off the distance, limit his opponent's movement, and bring the fight into the areas where he is most effective. That is what made this particular face-off so significant. It highlighted a fundamental contrast between their fighting styles. Garry is at his best when he has space to operate, while Islam's strength comes from controlling the action. Garry wants to dictate the fight with his long-range punches and kicks, whereas Islam aims to turn every exchange into a close, physically demanding battle that gradually wears his opponent down.
How damage you have on your career, it's all about this, you know. I want to be honest, it's some of them 31 also, it's like if you have damage on his career, it's late, you know, but I'm 34 just, and I feel good, still like compete with the young guys in the gym. And
as they stood face to face, the contrast between their strategies seemed almost visible. Garry showed no signs of being overwhelmed by the occasion. Instead, he appeared comfortable with the pressure and fully confident in his abilities. He has consistently expressed his belief that his skills are good enough to compete with the very best in the UFC. But confidence can feel very different when it is tested against an opponent with Islam's level of grappling experience. Islam has built a reputation that goes far beyond his impressive record. Fighters understand how quickly a contest can change once he establishes a grip and begins controlling the position. An opponent might be performing well during a striking exchange, only to suddenly find himself pushed toward the fence, defending against a takedown while carrying Islam's physical pressure and trying to stop him from advancing into an even stronger position. Finding a way to prevent that sequence from happening is one of the biggest challenges Garry will have to overcome.
I cannot wait to step into the octagon against Islam Makhachev and beat him, because there will be no doubt that I have done it against the best. To be the best, you have to beat the best. And my next opponent is regarded by everyone in the world as the #1 ranked pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. After the fight, I just want it to be known that MACHADO GARRY is great. Make no excuses.
However, Gary brings a set of qualities that makes this matchup especially intriguing. He is not an undersized lightweight, simply trying to survive against a physically stronger opponent. Instead, he is a naturally tall and rangy fighter who has built much of his success around controlling distance and dictating where exchanges take place. That could force Islam to deal with situations he does not usually encounter. If Islam struggles to get through Gary's initial defense and establishes entries, he could find himself pursuing an opponent who refuses to remain directly in front of him. Gary's movement could therefore become one of the most important elements of the contest. Rather than standing in close range and exchanging continuously, he can use his reach to land from the outside, create separation, change directions, and make Islam repeatedly work to close the gap. But that approach carries its own danger. The longer Gary operates near the fence, the greater the possibility of allowing Islam to cut off his escape routes. That is where Islam's patience becomes particularly dangerous. He does not necessarily have to force every opportunity or win every individual exchange. Instead, he can gradually reduce the available space, push his opponent toward the edge of the octagon, and wait until the distance between Gary and the fence becomes minimal. At that point, the threat of a takedown becomes extremely difficult to ignore. Gary cannot concentrate entirely on his boxing because he must remain prepared for the level change. He also has to be careful with his kicks, knowing Islam may look for an opportunity to counter them with a takedown. At the same time, standing still gives Islam more chances to impose his pressure. The more Gary begins anticipating the wrestling threat, the more the concern could interfere with his striking rhythm and decision-making. Beneath the physical matchup lies a deeper mental battle, with each fighter trying to force the other into reacting instead of executing his preferred game plan.